What's good, family? Queen Common Sense coming back to you from the Chi-Town, holding it down, Kakalaka remix to the sticks. I came across something here where Cassy speaks out. First of all, I hope all y'all are doing okay. Hope you had a lovely Thursday. I'm finally off the plantation, child. Boy, what a day, what a day, what a day. You know, it's apparent. The older I get, the more I realized that I was not as crazy as people wanted me to believe I am for paying attention to the details. Okay. Because there is a, a certain way that people of no color communicate their facetious, backhanded, passive aggressiveness when you check them in a nice, polite way and they don't like it, especially they're men. White men do not like being put in their place. White men are entitled to be disrespectful and talk out of turn and be rude. They feel like that is standard operating procedure when you're dealing with folk of color, especially black women. And I noticed this one particular man of no color, you know, how if we ask a question of a white person and because they are knowledgeable, and they're helpful or they're recognized for being knowledgeable at whatever they do, they tend to over explain things. And it's almost like a switch turns on. With their own kind, they don't do that. But when it comes to a person of color, especially a black woman, they feel like they have to dumb us down because if they speak direct or use proper terminology, we won't catch on. It'll go over our head. And I noticed this is happening on the plantation. And it's really sad, to be honest with you. And it's a little annoying as well because, you know, it's no need for it, really. It's a waste of time. I promise you, I asked a question just for clarity. And it took this man of no color 10 minutes and he never answered my question directly. I go to a different person who's qualified to answer my question, another man of no color, and he answered my question straight out. This is what, yes, you're correct. Thanks for running it by me. You doing just fine. Because I like to check my work. And especially when I'm learning something kind of new, is foreign, I like to make sure I'm efficient, but I take my time to know what I'm doing. So if I do make a mistake, I'll be like, okay, that's where I made my mistake. I can catch my own mistakes as well. And then so I won't repeat those mistakes. So I was a little bit perturbed when I got off work today, but what I found really lifted my spirits, and I am a little bit, a tiny little bit more hopeful now that, you know, black folks are tired of being treated like niggas and they're starting to stand up and unify in solidarity over how deplorably black women are treated and not believed when we report being brutalized. Cassy spoke out, y'all. So let's get right into it. Shout out to Dr. Rashad Ritchie, Indisputable. I got it from over there, right? And we gonna have a peekaboo. Okay, we're gonna have a peekaboo. We're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna have a peekaboo. Cassie speaks out. I'm so very proud of her, just like I'm very proud of Mel and all of us who are brave enough to step up and say, hey, Yeah, no, you're not gonna get away with this. And this is really aimed right between Nell's eyes and everybody else on the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast too, because it really got under my skin in a horrible kind of way when I heard Nell not just say it, but repeat it that, oh, you know how I feel about black men going to jail because of my son. Well, your son ain't every black man, okay? And every black man don't break the law and act like a heathen and embarrass his family and totally, totally betray his upbringing if he was brought up correctly and steal credit cards to buy tires for his damn car or whatever it was. In my opinion, that's what I think it was, some frivolous hood rich shit, because once y'all started rolling in the dough in real estate, that helped boost up the image of your daycare. That's just my opinion. And then you were able to make the upgrades and things you needed to do because off the steam of your husband being a successful real estate agent. I seen these type of fake power couples all the time. Just because you married for a long time and been, a part of said community for a long time does not mean you are a pillar of said community, and your behavior is what determines the worth of your character and your moral fiber, not the how much assets and material things you can collect and stockpile and or hoard. Okay. Same thing I had to tell my sister. I talk about her often with this type of Jezebel energy, and also the type of narcissistic, self entitled energy for people to think just because we are the longest or the biggest or the richest or whatever, that somehow equates to being a good person. Well, we see clearly that don't mean a damn thing. We have a laundry list of so-called celebrities who are so-called good people and admired in the community and supposed to be household names, who are monsters, just like this Negro, Sean the Devil Diddy Combs. Okay, so let's get into it. Listener Marceau and Reckless Reese, Luther King Scott, Nail, we connected more dots. Here go some more dots on the whiteboard. Get your crayons and your chalk and your finger paint so that you can understand why it's important to report these things, why it's important to believe the people who are reporting these things, because there are certain signs that you can look for in their behavior after they have reported being brutalized. Okay, so here we go. Let's go.
Another update, P. Diddy, Cassy. Well, Cassy speaks out. Put up the picture full mask. So today, Cassy has addressed the surveillance video from the 2016 assault at the hand of Sean Diddy Combs, saying, quote, "Thank you for all of the love and support from my family, friends, strangers, and those I have yet to meet. The outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now. But this is only the beginning. Domestic violence is the issue. It broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. With a lot of hard work, I am better today."
Did you hear that, Nell and the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast? Did y'all hear that? DV will break you down to someone who you think you could never be. Okay? That's why when the first sign of brutality shows up and this person feels they have to put their hands on you and violate you in a violent way, report it. Call them damn zookeepers. That's what they're for. Okay? Nobody is put here to be someone else's punching bag, whether it's emotional punching bag, physical, in any way, shape, or form, is another person entitled to harm you just because they're a black man or woman doesn't give them a free pass to give you long-term trauma. Okay? Let's continue. I'm sorry, y'all.
But I will always be recovering from my past. Thank you to everyone who has taken the time to take this matter seriously. My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims the first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell the truth out of a situation that you were powerless in.
We're going to let this commercial rock, y'all. But yeah, believe the victims the first time.
I offer my hand to those that are still living in fear. Reach out to your people. Don't cut them off. No one should carry this weight alone. This healing journey is never ending, but this support means everything to me. Thank you. Love always, Cassy. So heartfelt, so true, so authentic, so real. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Less than 10% of sexual assaults, DV, domestic violence, etc., gets reported. And then when it does get reported,
less than 10% is reported. Violence against a domestic partner, a sibling, an uncle, aunt, cousins. Okay? It comes in any dynamic, any combination of a relation, of connection. Okay? It's not just a man pummeling a woman. It goes all different directions and variations. Less than 10% is reported. Okay? And in Chicago, Illinois alone, it could be less time now, but I know from the time that I was doing home daycare and in between my medical career and segueing into community service and things like that, every 25 minutes, a Black woman is brutalized in Chicago and refuses to call police or make a police report or even tell anybody, period. It doesn't even have to be law enforcement. The statistics were every 25 minutes, there was an act of domestic brutality. Okay?
many times it's reported, but it wasn't the first time it happened. And we have this culture in America that would prefer to dismiss the reality of these claims and basically put that person on trial as if they are a suspect. Put up the picture of the security officer, the former security guard. So the P. Diddy, head of security, former head of security, said on Monday on the Piers Morgan show Uncensored that Combs allegedly did not know Ventura had access to the surveillance footage of him. He had no idea.
Okay. Check this out, y'all. You gonna love this. What, Pete?
The disturbing video released Friday by CNN corroborated Ventura's November 2023 lawsuit, in which she claimed Combs chased her down a hallway of the now closed Intercontinental Hotel, Century City, and assaulted her before paying $50,000 to cover it up. Quote, he knew those cameras were there, Bonds told Morgan. But of course, as we heard, he came back to the hotel and he paid to get the footage, but didn't know, which Cassy said inside her complaint, that they gave her a copy of the footage also. All right? She always had it. Now, here's an interesting dynamic. The DA has already come out and said statute of limitation has expired because this took place in 2016. But there's a nuance here. And if you have ongoing suppression, ongoing cover-up, those nuances, they stop the clock from starting, okay? So if you are in active suppression by way of covering something up or intimidating the witness, that means that's a continuation of the initial crime. If they wanted to prosecute P. Diddy, they could. That's my point, all right? Put up the picture. As previously reported, Ventura alleged in her 35-page complaint that Combs forced her, now this is tough to hear.
Now, this woman, Cassy, has to relive everything that she's been through every time she hears about it, every time she discusses it, every time someone asks her a question about it. I'm sure she's getting dinged on social media, tagged all, seeing it all through the feed. How do you think this survivor feels about having to revisit this part of her life and she's still in recovery? That's the same way Mel feels. That's the same way I feel. That's the same way any other man or woman, especially Black people, feel each time we have to repeat the chain of events leading up to why we're trying to make a report of a crime. Like this, being brutalized, traumatized, disrespected, treated worse than a dog for 10 years. Okay? Same amount of time Melody went through her stint with her ex-husband. Okay? And this is why I rub stuff in and I get real petty with ignorant, purposefully ignorant Black women like Nell, and even more ignorant women like Stormy, because she claims to have the monopoly on understanding and being empathetic and all of this. And she somehow defaults to being a pygmisha. Do you think Mel was trying to be vindictive or facetious? Well, what do you call what Martell was doing? By cheating on her, having multiple pregnancies with his paramour, side whore, and lying and trying to force his then wife to shut up and take it, suffer in silence. She was already suffering in silence because she, Mel, tried to protect her abuser. Okay, until she woke up and said, "You know what? Nah, no, 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 ma'am, sir. We gonna move around about this. Okay, we deserve way more than to settle for somebody who is blatantly disrespecting me in my face and my children." Okay.
Forced her to engage in sexual acts with male sex workers as he watched and recorded, sexually violated her on a regular, beat her and pushed her into drug addiction. Following the complaint, a litany of similar accusations from other women ensued. Combs is currently facing 5 other civil lawsuits that regard accusations of sexual misconduct, coercion, and other illegal activities. HuffPost summarizes further that Bonds claimed Combs was violent toward women at least 4 or 5 times during his tenure and told Morgan the, quote, king manipulator frequently got into wrestling and punching matches with women, adding, quote, "I've seen him with Kim Porter, his kid's mother," end quote. Bonds told Morgan, quote, "I've seen him inside the car, grab her up. I've seen him smack her. And one thing about Kim is Kim got to the point where she fought back because she realized how powerful she was." HuffPost notes Porter had 3 children with Combs and died suddenly of apparent pneumonia in 2018. Bonds told Morgan he wasn't surprised by the footage of Cassy Ventura's assault, having, quote, "seen things to this nature before," end quote, and also gotten in between things. He said he had to break up these domestic occurrences.
So my question still remains, good family. Why did it take so long for anybody to corroborate her story and come forward that were firsthand eyewitnesses to it? Why did it take so long? Because we heard it. Cassy already had the hotel footage. Diddy did okay. That was the nail in the coffin. Oh, you don't believe me? You mean to tell me I have to show you footage of me being brutalized for you to take that seriously? Come on now. Why did it take so long for this security guard to come forward and all the rest of the people who were watching and know and were privy to this horrendous triad of horror?
As early as 2012. He recalled thinking Combs was simply up to the same games. Again, Bond said Combs' apology video was insincere, stating Combs said what he thought people wanted to hear and is only sorry because he got caught. It's a deeper anger when you're hitting and punching a woman in that type of manner, Bond said, adding that Combs' problem with women indicates a deeper issue within himself. Ventura alleged in her 2023 lawsuit, which was settled for an undisclosed amount in one day after the filing, which was a record, that Bond's witness Combs stomping her in 2009 after he learned she'd spoken to a music manager at a club in Los Angeles, and that Bonds tried to stop Combs. All right, reminder of the apology again. Here it is.
We're not going to do that. Apologize. We're not going to do that. Apologize. I'm good on the apologize. I don't know about you. Uh, enough is enough for me. I'm good on the apologize. So that's it, folks. There you have it. Cassy speaks out with her beautiful self. I send her love and continued recovery and healing to her and her family. I hope that her support system is everything she needs and she is continuing to work on releasing the baggage that was placed on her shoulders that did not belong to her. And always, always, always document everything if you can. Okay. There's a app, lots of apps that we can download on our phone to where it looks like a regular everyday app, but you can tap on it and set it up to where it will record when you find yourself in a volatile situation and you can't get to help. And a lot of these apps will go ahead and contact emergency services so you don't have to give yourself away or alert your attacker that you're on the phone, because a lot of times when you try to get away you see what they do. Clearly we see what he did to Gassy when she tried to escape. Okay, so I don't want to hear anybody else trying to down Mel or drag Mel or any other woman who was married in a committed relationship or co-parenting with the type of monster that will brutalize a woman, the mother of his children, his woman, his girlfriend, wife, fiance, sister, auntie, cousin, little, I don't care. Brutality is brutality. And why is it dismissed? And why do Black men, especially, turn their head to it? Why is it so easy to pay off a Black man to stay silent when he is in full knowledge of this type of level of sickness? Why did it take so long? Is there a deeper issue within Mr. Bonds? that kept him quiet? Does Mr. Bonds have a mother? Does he have a sister, a daughter? I know he has children. He spoke of his children. How would he feel if one of his loved ones was brutalized like this and their network of peers stood by and stayed silent for years? See, that's the disconnect that's very disturbing among Black folks is if it ain't happening to me, I ain't worried about it. I don't care. You shouldn't put yourself in that situation. Oh my, how soon we forget where we've come from. And some of the people who stay silent and complicit to this type of disgusting, deplorable acts are just as sick as the main character. Okay? They condone it because they agree with it. And if they don't agree with it, it's enough money to keep them quiet because they want to keep their security blanket in place. All right. So I'm going to end it here. I love you. Shout out to Indisputable, Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Shout out to Cassy. Shout out to the family. Shout out to Love, Black Power Healing. Shout out to Letting Go, Catch Release. You know, the first time, the first red flag, you got to draw that boundary clear. We all have been there before to some degree where we ignore the signs, but let all of these stories that are connecting together, connecting the dots on domestic brutality, domestic torture, and torment. Let this be a strong message. Never, ever stay silent. When you see something, say something. And this is very, very confirming, validating, and healing for me as well. Because I was brutally attacked with stars in my eyes. Wanted to see my name in lights. Wanted to make my little baby girl proud. On campus, in college, minding my business. And because I refused and rejected a disgusting, perverted predator who was much older than me, no, thank you. I don't want to ride. That created a monster and erected and revived a monster in this person. And he stalked me for over a year until he caught me slipping with my daughter, my infant daughter. And I'm just trying to go to college and do the right thing. And my mother, my support system was not there. Nobody believed me because the evidence was suppressed and destroyed. Okay, so I can't make this up. And it took me a long time to finally be able to sleep through the night, not just because I was brutally attacked, but because I had zero support. I had to heal myself as a young woman. I didn't have a lot of resources. I didn't have a lot of information to draw from. So I figured it out on my own. There you have it, folks. So I'm very super proud of all my Black women who are strong enough to leave and strong enough to speak up no matter how someone is trying to intimidate you and keep you silent. You have solidarity with those of us who are survivors as well. And always say something. If you see something, say something. All right, fam. I'm going to be out. Go get myself something to eat and call Husa. So I'm just really triggered. I love you. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your evening. I might come back to you again with a little more because I got more pride to share some Chi-Town pride to share. It's already trending, so we're gonna get into it. One love, and I'm gonna be out for now. On the flip side, fam. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video. I'm out, y'all.